It's Slate Night, the Film Fan Podcast. Now, here are your hosts, Corey and Mason.
Welcome to another episode of Slate Night, the Film Fan Podcast, the podcast made by film fans for film fans. As always, I am one of your co-hosts, Mason Schmidt, here with my best bud, Corey Knudsen.
Gator needs his gap, punk-ass bitch.
Did not expect that. I need to watch, doesn't he have that show, The Hawk? The Will Ferrell has like Hawk golfing show.
Yeah.
Is that on Netflix or like Apple TV?
I don't know. I don't know.
But I kind of want to check that out just because Will Ferrell doing any sort of sports comedy, whether it's semi-pro or Blades of Glory, or Talladega Nights, he's really got the fucking handle on sports comedies. We need him in a good football movie now. We didn't see, Minions and Monsters, even though we're going to put up a facade like we did. We didn't really watch a whole lot of new releases this past week, but we did a good amount of catch-up work for both Corey and I. But, Corey, we just came off of 4th of July weekend, so how are you, and what are we drinking today? I'm guessing it's probably not going to be Four Locos ever again.
Not on this podcast anyway. Probably not. That was a one-time thing. Editing that video was wild to just see so much of myself that I don't remember what I said. And it was like a 2-hour episode, so that was fun. Both of us talking over each other, trying to cut through that. So 4 Locos plus 5 gin and tonics for me, and not really eating that day was a wild choice.
Yeah. That might be the drunkest I've seen you in a long time, actually.
I got greasy. Watching myself talk during that and say the exact same things 17 times in a row. Also, after the episode ended, a little behind the scenes for you, Mason and I just hung out here for a little bit. And
don't remember much of that either.
No, that was a wild fucking... nothing weird happened.
No, not beating the allegations, though, regardless of what we say now.
But I woke up and there was just specks of ranch dressing on my floor, and then there was a roll of packing tape that was completely removed from the little tool and just balled up in my sink.
That's the one that absolutely perplexes me. Like, the ranch on the floor at least kind of makes sense.
That's happened in other apartments before. Yeah,
I'm just like, why the packing tape?
What were we doing? I don't know. I have no idea what happened. But I got a little greasy. So it was probably our most honest episode in a long time.
Yeah. It was pretty aggressive. I rewatching it, and I was like, I really went in on Corey dressing up as Krem for Halloween for a good stint of that.
Didn't remember just the balls heaviness of that episode either.
Balls heaviness, yeah.
So not as much of that this week. It'll be more coherent because I work later today. So.
Yeah, and I'm just drinking water, recovering from the 4th of July, which actually was a pretty quiet holiday for me, which I like. I'm not a big fireworks person. I'm not a big Christmas lights person. Like, just celebrate your holiday and leave me alone is the way I think of things. But we went up on the water in Cross Lake, and we were able to just kind of boat around a little bit. There was potential rain all day, so there wasn't a lot of people on the water, so we were able to just have open lake to ourselves, and we missed all of the rain, so it was fantastic. And then we just been popping zins and drinking Surfsides all weekend.
Watching Joey Chestnut get his 18th belt. Yeah. That is a highlight every year.
It was a pretty good, chill 4th of July for us, so I really liked that.
Yeah, happy 4th to everybody.
Yeah, happy 4th. It was nice to catch up on some movies as well. Gonna start off with one that Corey talked about last week, which was a new release last week. Jackass Best and Last, coming from Jeff Tremaine, the same Jackass crew as always with Johnny Knoxville, Steve-O, Wee Man. This one, it's a bit of a good send-up. It's a look back at the era of Jackass through MTV, through all the movies, all their stupid skits, even the ones that they didn't air, which... Johnny Knoxville just going off into the woods to just shoot himself in the chest while he's wearing a Kevlar vest is crazy. But, being able to see that and then see them get in the car and just the excitement in Johnny's eyes of, guys, I think we just did something. And it's no way they thought it would balloon into something as successful as Jackass, something so iconic. Watching this, it was almost like a trip down memory lane, but also you got a good kind of sampling of some newer stunts. Some of the grossest things I've ever seen in a Jackass film, thanks, Steve-O. But it was such a good kind of, not turn your brain off and have fun, but it was very nostalgic already, just sitting there and watching it. And, they show some reruns of some of their favorite stunts, so it was a good kind of collection and a good way, I feel like, to cap this. And I didn't expect, not that I necessarily got emotional watching it, but just, this is the last time. And I, weirdly enough, have grown up watching these guys do these stupid... Just, let's have Wee Man go kick people in the nuts. We're shaving off the back of people's hair, running up behind him on the set of Jackass 2. So, I don't know, I grew up with this, so it is nostalgic, and it's kind of bittersweet watching it, and also, them walking around and oh god, I miss Ryan, I miss, all the things that came with, the earlier renditions of Jackass and those first couple of movies, so... It was fun. I really liked watching it. It was... Human pretzel is just rough. That is a hard thing to watch. It was so gross, which... that's the charm of these movies, is just that they're so horrible to sit through at times and just absolutely going to make you vomit in the seats, but also you're like, I can't look away. It's kind of fun. So I really enjoyed watching it. It's not going to be high up on my list, but it was a movie that I did really appreciate from this year.
Yeah, it's out of my drunken stupor of just being like the Brotherhood of last week, whatever. I really hammered that point home, which, I still stand by that. But no, it is a lot of fun. I do wish that there was more new stunts, which, I understand. They're getting older, and it's kind of... the title even says it best and last, so it's like, it makes sense. But yeah, this would be a fun one, even just to get, the boys together, watch it at home, just have some beers and watch that, or any of the Jackass movies, for that matter.
Jackass is, the best party movie. Or, you have people over, throw it on in the background, because it's not... There's no plot you need to follow, just, you look up, and Preston and Pee-wee, or Wee Man, doing the fucking... human bungee jump off the bridge, which is one of my favorite of theirs, and they show that a lot. Just Wee Man gets whipped so hard in that, and I've always loved that stuff. And then they highlight that in this one, so I really appreciated being able to have a trip down memory lane with people I've grown up with. Weirdly enough, so. And also, Johnny Knoxville getting kind of emotional when they're they have him in an electric chair, and they're like, "Hey, you've said it every time that this is going to be the last Jackass movie. Is this one actually going to be the last, or are you lying again? We're going to make another one in 5 years." And he's like, "Guys, I think it's it." And I was just like, "Oh, damn. I'm getting choked up right now. Johnny's sad." And the initial scare of him getting, just decleated by a bull back-to-back in the last Jackass. Just, it was nice seeing a little bit more of a glimpse behind the scenes, it felt like, in this one. So I really liked it.
Yeah. I want to go back and watch through all the, 0.5s.
Yeah.
The 2.5, 3.5, all the stuff. So that'd be fun. I was also catching up on stuff this week. It's kind of a theme here as we're going to end this episode with our top 10 of the year so far. So we both wanted to see some things we hadn't checked out yet. One of those was They Will Kill You, which I think you watched maybe 2 weeks ago or something. So, it's directed by Kirill Sokolov, and it came out a week after Ready or Not 2, and the trailers look very similar. And I think that's why it suffered a little bit, just because it had that same sort of premise of a woman that was stuck in a place trying to fight off a bunch of weird, demonic, cult-like family members. But I will say, I like this movie a lot more than Ready or Not 2.
Oh, yeah.
It's
far and away.
A lot more fun. I think I still like the first Ready or Not more, if we're kind of comparing all those. But this one stars Zazie Beetz, and essentially she's trying to find her sister, who she got separated with when she was younger, and she finds out she's in this high-rise in New York City, and she's trying to go in and save her, but finds out there's weird, I don't want to spoil too much, but demonic cult type community there. And it's filled out with a really fun cast. Patricia Arquette, whose accent fluctuates throughout the entire movie, which I was reading after that she did that intentionally, and because it's kind of Irish at some points, and then it's just Patricia Arquette. But there's just that line from the trailer that I remember where she's like, "Who are you?" And I don't know. I don't know if I buy that. That she's. It was it fine for this movie.
That feels too much retroactively going back and being "Oh, that shitty thing I did." That. Actually, no, that was intentional.
Yeah. Sometimes I buy that. Sometimes I'm like, I don't think.
I think you saw the dailies and you're like, "Ooh, this isn't gonna work out."
It's an interesting choice. But also you have Tom Felton, who I always love seeing pop up in something, and Heather Graham, who you were just slobbering over the other week.
Yeah, I've had a massive crush on her since I was born, I think. So, and I love seeing her pop up and stuff like this. And it is a smaller role, but she's just so awesome.
And this movie was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this one, and it really just kind of gets into it right away. I think it's a really well-paced movie. And the fights, there's just such a great energy to them. I'd really want to watch Kirill Sokolov's other movies that he's made, and curious to see what he does next, too, because I just think he had such a fun flair for the action, good wide shots, great choreography and stunt work and everything. And I really liked going through this hotel. Just, you kind of start out with a fight in a hotel room, and then you go into crawl spaces underneath, and then you're in an elevator shaft, and then there's different floors, kind of like the different circles of hell, I guess, if you want to do it. One is just a sex floor that they're crawling over in the vents, and they're just like, "Oh, it's just an orgy here." Gross. But it was just a cool dynamic to have these all kind of different locations. There's one really standout fight with a flaming axe in like a
Yeah.
ballroom that I just loved, and just had all the kind of campy fun, but it still reined it in. It wasn't too goofy. But there is just a lot of kind of Kill Bill-ish. A lot of people compared it to that when it came out.
Pulpy.
Yeah, and there's kind of like the quick zoom-ins at times, and that same sort of energy, which I really enjoyed. There's a part where an eyeball is just rolling around and just slingshotting up like a thing. And I'm like, this is perfect.
Yeah,
I really love that. So all those choices were really fun. I liked how they introduced a lot of the characters too, just like with title cards. That's also Tarantino-like in some ways. Once it gets to the end, there's a little bit more like CGI with a specific animal, I'll say, on a head on a stick, pig head on a stick. I'll just say that. It's been out for a while. Which pig head on a stick sounds like that'll be at the Minnesota State Fair this year.
Yeah.
I like the idea of it. I think it was kind of funny in a weird way, but the like final fight, I was like, this is a bit more CGI heavy than I preferred with some of the other more practical stunts and fights they were doing before. But overall, really fun movie. I had a great time watching They Will Kill You. It's on HBO Max right now. There's a lot of good stuff on there right now.
Oh, yeah.
As far as like movies from earlier this year, some that I still need to check out. So I'd recommend this one. Again, I think it suffered just from coming out a week after Ready or Not 2, but I think it is the superior version of that type of movie this year.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's just such a fun movie, and I think I watched this the same week we saw The Furious, or at least very close after we saw The Furious. I watched this movie. And it was just a good juxtaposition because, like, while I enjoy parts of The Furious, or I like what they're doing, it's great choreography and great action with not a lot of story to support it. In this movie, I think you get a little bit more story, but it's just way more stylized and it's way more fun. And it's way more engaging for me to sit down and watch a movie like They Will Kill You versus The Furious, where I think they both have merit, but I just prefer this over it. So it was such a good kind of rejuvenation. Also, kind of talking about Ready or Not 2, Here I Come, a movie we both didn't really like. This was a good way to kind of, not that they're related or in the same universe, but it just feels very one-to-one similar. So it was nice to just have that movie come through and shine through around this time of the year. So yeah, I'm happy you watched it. It's a really good film. Check it out on HBO Max. A movie that I caught up on, which is, I think, technically a 2025 movie, but that might be through their festival runs and stuff like that, because I've seen it on a lot of people's top 10s of their first half of 2026, is Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. It's directed by Matt Johnson, starring Matt Johnson and Jay McCarroll. I don't know a lot about the history. I think it's based off of a web series, a Canadian web series, and also an actual mockumentary series of these guys, Matt and Jay, trying to get their band to play at this venue. I think it's the Rivoli? The Rivoli, sounds right. And they're trying to book a show there, book a gig. They're these musicians. Their songs are really wacky and funny, and it's just shit that they just make up off the dome, it seems like. But in doing it in this movie, trying to get that venue space, they accidentally travel back to the year 2008. Which, honestly, I'd love to travel back to the year 2008. Not for the housing market crash. I wasn't, like, an adult for that. I would just love to see The Dark Knight in theaters again.
Playing the Wii.
Play the Wii. Just, like, experience that. GTA 4 is coming out. Like, I want to go back to then. I think that there's a lot of really great stuff in this movie. It is more of, like, a comedic take, but it's a good film about just, like, these guys trying to figure out life together. They're trying to make it big as a band, and they've been lifelong friends, and kind of the hiccups that come creatively as you do stuff together, and it doesn't necessarily take. It's not really successful. It was fun watching these guys kind of bicker back and forth, and I think Matt Johnson, he just plays like the off the cuff, just like real squirrely, wild ideas, just crazy about anything. He's like, what if we do this? What if we skydive from the CN Tower and land in the wherever the Skyfield or wherever the Toronto Blue Jays play? What if we land in there and we'll be like, hey, by the way, we're playing at a concert tonight, even though we don't have the venue solidified. They don't know we're coming. And I'm just like, I was so on board with like the friendship and them just trying to figure shit out. It was really fun. They also handled time travel in a very fun, don't think about it too much way of like, hey, let's travel back in time. They watch Back to the Future, and then he accidentally spills a liquid. It's very like Hot Tub Time Machine meets Back to the Future, where they put Red Bull in the hot tub or some energy drink in the Hot Tub Time Machine, and it allows them to travel back in time. Similar aspect to that here, mixed with Back to the Future of we set up the RV like it's a DeLorean, and once we hit 88 miles per hour, boom, we're in 2008. And they do a lot of fun things with like overlapping timelines and time travel that I was really surprised by. I enjoyed watching it. It's not one of my favorites of this year, but it was really fun and inventive, and also it feels very low budget. And in doing that, doing what they're able to achieve with the time travel aspects and some of that more like sci-fi, and some of the special effects in this movie are really kind of jaw-dropping at times. I was blown away by what this movie was able to achieve on a smaller budget, and it was just a fun kind of pal-around movie with these two bumbling idiots at times, which I really appreciated. And it gets really dark at times, it's really tongue-in-cheek at times, so it was a really interesting watch-through of this movie, or seeing this movie, especially not knowing much about the show. I don't know if this, in the way that Backrooms made me want to watch the YouTube shorts, I don't know if watching this movie makes me want to go back and watch more of Nirvana, the band, The Show, I believe is what their actual TV show is called. But I did really enjoy watching it and spending time with these characters. It's an hour and I think 50 minutes, so it's maybe a little bit too long where they do a couple of time travel-isms too much, and I'm just like, all right, you guys can find a natural ending point sometime soon, please. But I did enjoy watching through this movie. It was a little bit of a surprise from this year.
Mm-hmm. I know nothing about the Nirvana, the band, The Show. When I just heard that people liked this movie, I thought it was like a documentary about Nirvana at first, the actual band Nirvana, and not realizing that it was a show. I was just looking it up, like 2007, it looks like maybe the first like TV series was, and then they had something in 2016 too. So something I'd be interested in kind of digging into, because just looking at reviews and stuff, people are like, this is one of the best shows of all time. I'm like, cool.
Interesting.
So
never heard of it.
Yeah, I was not too familiar with that, but yeah, certainly something I would check out. One that I was very happy I watched, also on HBO Max, is Undertone. You were hyping it up earlier this year when you saw it, and I was missed it in theaters, but very happy I got to see it. Wish I would have seen it in theaters for the great sound design, though, because it's fucking awesome in this movie. And that sound design's great because it is centered around a podcaster named Evie, and her and another guy have a paranormal podcast where they just talk about freaky stuff. They listen to weird tapes. They talk about, theories on everything. And then they get this email of somebody sends them 10 audio files, and they're like, you guys should listen to this. It's really creepy. And they're like, all right, let's do it live, listen to it. And it's doing all the creepy, weird shit of playing like children's nursery rhymes in reverse and other type shit. And it's just this like couple that are talking in their sleep, and just the weird demonic things that come out of that. Also, Evie is staying at her mom's place. She's looking after her mom, who is going to die soon.
Hospice, basically.
Yeah, and she's just upstairs and just kind of laying in bed. She can't really do anything. So this movie is fucking great. This is a really, really good horror movie. And I feel like this year has been great for horror movies in general, but also ones that actually freak me out. Because a lot of complaints that we have are like, we enjoyed that movie, but it didn't scare us really. And with Obsession and both this movie, there's been just moments that I'm like, ooh, that scares the fuck out of me. The main thing really is just with that sound design. And a lot of times when they're recording the podcast, she has her headphones on and they're listening to the audio, but then like you hear a noise and you're like, was that outside of the headphones? Was that like upstairs? Was her mom like possessed or something? Or was that just part of this recording? That's a very relatable thing of like when we have headphones in and you're like, is this part of the song or is this... Oh, somebody's saying my name. Oh, what? Yeah. Okay. Oh, a car's gonna hit me. Oh, great. Sweet. But that's where this movie shined, was just really those moments where she's listening and then lights start flickering and just hearing sounds throughout the house. Really well directed too by Ian Tuason. I believe this is his first movie, but he has a career in doing like those VR horror games or like horror shorts. Oh. So, and you can feel that here, like that, just that surrounding you and kind of feeling that with the noise. So he definitely has a skill set for that. And I think it's just really well directed too, with so many shots where it's basically split down the middle of just her sitting at the table and then it's just a dark hallway. And like nothing will pop out sometimes. It's just there, but you're like, is that something there? And that's the best type of horror, where you're just like, I think I saw something move, maybe. And I think again, just a very well-paced movie. I think that the ending is great. That's kind of where the most creepy stuff came through, and just kind of this, it's a good way to do the book research scene in a way that you see in a lot of horror movies, but presented in a different way, where you learn about this kind of entity just through this kind of these recordings and through just not screen life necessarily, but just on their computers. And it just ended in a way where I'm like, ooh, that is terrifying, and that's leaving me just with a feeling of dread. So can't recommend this one enough. In a year of very strong horror movies, this one I feel like kind of got forgotten a little bit. Yeah. So definitely go check it out again. It's on HBO Max right now.
Yeah, and I really love this movie. I think Ian Tucson is now attached to potentially be sending up the Paranormal Activity franchise and coming back and doing something
that feels like it fits.
So I'm like, that fits really well. Yeah, I really like this movie. It's a great, somewhat of all these gangbusters horror movies that we've had this year, this one I feel like is kind of falling to the bottom of the list, or it's less notable, or people aren't talking about it as much. Definitely check it out. It's great. I caught up on a movie called The Christophers, which is directed by Steven Soderbergh. He did Black Bag last year. He's one of my favorite directors. This is a film starring Ian McKellen and Michaela Cole. Also got James Corden and Jessica Gunning in it. This is a film that follows these two children of a once famous artist. These two children are played by James Corden and Jessica Gunning. That hire a forger, played by Michaela Cole, to complete some unfinished, long ago abandoned canvases that their dad started and didn't complete. Just because it kind of brings up a bit of his past that he doesn't want to revisit, as he is getting to the point in his life where he's final stages. He has a disease that's killing him, and he doesn't want to kind of reopen a can of worms. He just wants to, you know what, I'm doing my thing. I'm doing a bunch of cameos for people that love me and think I'm famous, so I'm just calling them and saying, oh, your name, and hi, it's so good to see you. Yeah, you like this painting from me? He's kind of not sold out, did a little bit of just like, you know what, I'm throwing in the towel at this point, but he's getting to the last couple days of his life. Doesn't want to kind of go back to some of his paintings that he can't really crack necessarily. So Michaela Cole and Ian McKellen, this is a movie just with those two performances basically spearheading this entire movie, and it's a movie about people talking, which typically works really well for me. I love movies that just have really good witty dialogue. I haven't seen a lot of Ian McKellen movies, I think, outside of Gandalf and Magneto, so it was nice seeing a movie where he is the lead, and he's not playing a iconic character, he's just playing this artist at the end of his life, kind of recounting things and talking about lost love and stuff like that, and his style, and how he hates how people kind of critique his style or what people think is art, and he's just like, that's bullshit, it's not art, sorry, you can't, you did another portrait, great, or another landscape painting, great, you're awesome. No, this is like, he's like, I do real things, and I take parts of me and I put it into my work. And I really liked kind of that dissection of art and kind of how people view it today, especially when it comes to like actually painting and like actual art, not necessarily like visual media like or film and stuff like that, just painting. And I appreciated that. But Ian McKellen's character is so awesome, and he's the smartest character in every room he's in, likely. He's one of those people that anytime you're in a conversation with him, you're not going to win. And there's no volley back and forth of like, I talk, you talk, I talk, you talk. It's him talking, and then him asking you a question, but then answering for you, and then telling you you're an idiot for answering like that, even though you said nothing. Like, it's just the guy who is the smartest person in the room, doesn't care about what you have to say, and he's just going to fucking talk you out of the room. Like, he is very bullheadedness in his kind of relationships with people, especially with Michaela Cole, as she kind of reveals more about who she is as a forager and as a person with an arts background. This was just a really riveting kind of small character drama of these two characters figuring things out. A lot of self-reflection, but also a lot of self-discovery with Michaela Cole's character. So I really enjoyed this movie. It's really sharply directed, really well written. It is, I think, about 2 hours long, and I think that while it's not like a horribly paced movie, it does get a little bit slow at times. There is a good deal of emotional payoff, especially in the latter half of the film, that I think kind of helps to smooth over some of the slower aspects of the story. But yeah, I really did enjoy this movie. I wanted to check it out in theaters just because it's Steven Soderbergh. I just missed it. I feel like it was around the same time as like They Will Kill You and stuff like that, where I was just like, I don't know what to go see right now. And apparently I saw the wrong movies in theaters. Thanks, Ready or Not to. Here I come. But yeah, I really enjoyed The Christophers. It's not one of my favorite Soderbergh movies, but still, like, a B-tier Soderbergh movie is like an A-tier for any other modern-day director, I feel like. So I would recommend it. It is just more of a character drama, a lot of talking, a lot of dialogue, a lot of well-written dialogue, and a lot of good conversation about art. And you get a really good performance from Ian McKellen, where I think if this movie had come out in maybe October or November, we might hear rumblings of him getting an Oscar nom. since it came out earlier in the year, I'm like, I don't know if he will necessarily have the longevity to stick through to that Oscar season conversation, but he was really exceptional in this movie, and it made me want to go back and watch more Ian McKellen stuff that isn't him being Gandalf the White or Magneto. So I really did enjoy The Christophers, and I'd recommend it.
Shout out to him for being the narrator of the TED TV show for like a couple episodes.
That is crazy. Yeah. The TED TV show is also just wildly underseen. I feel like I don't hear enough of people talking about it. It's so funny. It's maybe better than the movies.
It needs more seasons. Whatever they want to do. If they want to do like an animated thing, I heard them talking about. Cool. I need more TED.
Have TED interlock with Family Guy. Bring him in.
We need college years with TED. Like that seems like such a natural place to go.
Yeah.
Bring Ian McKellen in for that. Make him a professor in that. I don't call him Professor X at the fucking college. I don't care.
You thinking Patrick Stewart?
I'm just saying that's the joke. It's like you would call him. Fucking nothing gets by you, huh?
Everything gets by me. Give me a Four Loko. Everything will get by me.
What if I just pulled out 2 Four Lokos?
I would be so pissed. The way he presented it last week too. You did it before we started recording, but you ran over to the table with them like you were hiding something, and then you just like set it down and like ha, I gotcha. And I was like, oh my god, because we had talked about like I've never had a Four Loko before.
Yeah.
And then being presented with that also led into one of the longest, most like unhinged episodes of us recording. So, and now I don't remember why there was ranch or packing tape in your sink.
Yeah, I don't know. It's we talked about we needed a good episode, or good movies for the week to talk about, to drink Four Loko for. And Supergirl and Jackass, you were the lucky chosen few.
Balls on your face.
That's right. All right, into some TV talk. Last week, The Bear season 5 dropped. And I didn't get to watch it before we recorded last week. Probably better that way, that I can actually give you good thoughts about it now. More coherent thoughts. But yeah, so this is the 5th and final season of The Bear. A very consistent show. That's one thing that I love about it, that it started in 2022, and there's been a season a year until now. You don't see that a lot.
Yeah.
Especially with a lot of shows that are nominated for a bunch of Emmys and doing that. Severance, I love that show, but it's like, man, we've had 2 seasons in a long time. And that's a lot of other shows, too.
Wearing thin for me.
But a lot of people, the show was hyped up in the first season or 2 when it was coming out. I caught up with it after those first 2 seasons, binged it all, fell in love with it, and then I've been watching as the seasons come out from then on. I've really liked season 3 and 4 as well. I know a lot of people have not dunked on them, but just been like, they're not as strong as the first 2 seasons. And like, I agree, but I still think there's a lot of really good character work, and it plays into this final season as well, where this is an 8 episodes final season, and 7 of the episodes take place in one day, where it's like from they're opening the restaurant at like 10 or 11 a.m. and then they're just prepping, and then they're going through their dinner rush, and that ends at like 8 p.m. or something. So it's like 7 episodes that take place in that time frame, similar to, I guess, what The Pit is, where it takes place in like one night. I haven't seen it, but from what I hear. And I really loved that. And it was an interesting choice for this final season, because then the last episode is kind of, closing everything out, really. But because there was so much good character work done, especially in season 4, and that last episode of season 4 was really just an explosive big dialogue scene, we've kind of closed out a lot of the character arcs already before we got into the season. So I was curious to see what they did, and what we got with this season was just kind of the crew one last time of them all being together, going on a shift at work, and everything is going wrong. It starts off and it's raining in Chicago. It's flooding. The pipes are bursting in their basement. All of their supplies are gone. The truck's not bringing the food that they need. They only can use what is in their freezer right now, which is not enough for the amount of people that are coming in. And everything is just going wrong. They don't have enough seating. And just seeing them go through one more shift together was really cool. And it was, again, just an interesting approach to this final season. But you get great character moments through all these things. And then the final episode wraps up, and it worked for me. It was just really sweet to be with these characters one final time, and I just think that these are characters that are so likable and so fun to be around. And if you've ever worked in a restaurant, it's very relatable too, of just the shit that you go through of once you walk from the dining room of people back into the kitchen, and how you are a different person.
Yeah.
The shit that you're saying. So this is really great, and also the lead into this season was that episode called Gary, which was
I was gonna ask, how does that tie in, or does it tie in?
Yeah, yep. So in the first episode, the end of that Gary episode with Richie when he's in his car, that is one of the first scenes of this new season. So, and that too was kind of a closure in a sense for Richie and his relationship with Mikey, played by John Bernthal. So like we've got to, again, closed out a lot of things before we got into this season. It was just kind of with Carmy, played by Jeremy Allen White, and what he does in the season and where he goes. So I enjoyed this season a lot. I really love this show. Just a couple specific highlights from this season. Hans Zimmer did the score.
I heard about that.
Fucking awesome. It is unbelievable. Like, I know you haven't watched all the Bear, but like listen to his score, because it's very much like F1 in that same like propulsive like. And as you're going through like a kitchen shift, and it's just Hans Zimmer in the background, it's like, hands, get the fucking meat. Like, it's so great. You get a couple new cast members in here. They've always had fun little cameos. Elsie Fisher, who was the main girl in 8th grade. She's really good. She plays a character named Cheese, Computer's daughter. And then you have, I don't know if I'm gonna say this right, but Deirdre O'Connell, who's the mom in Joker. She's been in a lot of other stuff too, but she has a fun little role here as well. So just the entire cast, I love. Will Poulter continues to be just one of my favorite characters here. He's from he was in like Copenhagen, I think. He was a chef there, and then he comes to America and he's helping in the kitchen, and they're just talking about like McGriddles. Like, they're just in their car. They're working on the fanciest restaurants, and then him and Marcus are sitting in the car, and he's like, "This is perfect." He's like, this deserves Michelin stars for how perfect a McGriddle is. And they're just like, yeah, you can't beat this. This is amazing.
Matt Shack.
It's incredible. So, great moments. I love where Richie leaves off. I love where the whole crew leaves off. You get some John Mulaney, a little bit of Bob Odenkirk. Jamie Lee Curtis also is just a standout throughout all of this. I love her arc over the show. So it's definitely one of my favorite shows of all time. It's not one of the flashiest. It's not the Game of Thrones level type things. It's not the crazy storytelling like a Breaking Bad or anything, but it's just a show that I've always loved watching, and it's always bittersweet when you come to the end of something that you've kind of been tracking along with for multiple seasons, and watching as it's coming out has been really fun too. So, can't recommend The Bear enough. I know people boil it down to, it shouldn't be in the comedy categories, and I'm so tired of that. I'm like, just stop. It's not like a hardcore drama, so I'm fine with it. Like, it's okay. Go watch The Bear. It's really good.
Yeah, you've kind of sold me on it, as well as that episode Gary that we watched sometime earlier this summer, which was I really enjoyed, and I really did like that first season. I'm bad at keeping up on shows, but The Bear, knowing that it has a finite, like a definitive end, and there's 5 seasons. Maybe 50 episodes in total. I could probably march through that. So there's maybe 2 shows that I'm going to work through this year, which one is a rewatch. I might do a yearly watch of Twin Peaks just because I really love that show moving forward. But The Bear might be the other one that I can kind of fit into my schedule, just because that feels the most palatable, feels the most easy enough to sit down and do. And also, from the way you've talked about it, I think it just sounds like it's a show that is satisfying, and also has a lot of... It does a lot by handling so many different characters, and from the way you've talked about it, gives them satisfying arcs. Characters that are played by actors that I love, so I'm like, I don't know why I haven't kept up on this show. So it felt kind of, not unceremonious, but it just like, oh, Bear Season 5 just dropped and it's done. And I'm like, I feel like I haven't heard enough people talking about it, especially with how good it sounds like it is. So I'll definitely need to check it out here in the near future. It's on Hulu, right?
It's on Hulu, yeah.
I need to get a good Hulu account. I think we have Hulu. We have like the free Hulu, so it has ads, and I'm like, I can't do ads on streaming services at this point. It just pisses me the fuck off. But I'll need to check out The Bear. I'm happy that you're able to have a good kind of ending to that show for you. A TV show that is easier for me to kind of work into my schedule just because they're really short episodes and I'm on top of it already is X-Men 97, which we did a bad job at really mentioning that was dropping this past week. It I think debuted on Wednesday, which is the 1st of July, and they'll do a sequential episode release every Wednesday. We have one coming up on the 8th. The first 3 episodes were dropped on July 1st, which is Days of Past Future, A Force to be Reckoned With, and Rise of Apocalypse Part 1. This is the season where they're going to dive into the Apocalypse story. We also get a lot of Cable, Nathan Summers, and stuff like that. And we're approaching Apocalypse in a bunch of different timelines, so you kind of get definitive perspectives in these first 3 episodes, which I really liked. I think so far already, and this is coming from someone that is somewhat a fan of X-Men Apocalypse, the movie that was put out in, 2016?
Yeah, underrated.
I think it's a little underrated. I think already, if they can keep this momentum and this kind of this strength moving forward through these episodes, this could easily be the definitive handling of the Apocalypse story. I love X-Men 97, that first season that we got, and I'm really already hooked. The moment the theme kicks in, I'm like, yes, take me, let's go. It's so fun. It's just so good. The animation is really great, and I think that they've done a good job still of keeping the same style, but just kind of cleaning it up and making it look a little bit more polished, a little bit newer. I like the focus that we're getting with the Nathan Summers and Scott Summers character, as well as Jean Grey. I'm won over by this show. It's already it's the closest I can get to having Saturday morning cartoons and being a kid at the age of 26 is just watching X-Men 97 season 2. So I really am enjoying it so far. I love the animation. I can't wait to see where it goes. And I'm already yep, Apocalypse. That is growing up, Magneto was the villain of the X-Men, and you don't really, you hear a little bit about, Mr. Sinister and stuff like that. You don't really hear much about Apocalypse, at least as, a mainstream X-Men fan. I never really heard much until X-Men Apocalypse came out. And now it's oh no, this is the villain. This is the Thanos. This is the dark side for the X-Men. And they're doing a really good job of building up that reign of terror that comes with Apocalypse. So I'm sold on it. I can't wait to keep up on this one. And, giving me a 25 to maybe 30-minute episode a week, yeah, I can do that. So I'm really enjoying X-Men 97 season 2 so far.
This is something I'm very behind on. I started a couple years ago watching through the X-Men animated series because I'd never seen all of that before. So I got through, I think, a season and a half, and I really liked it. I just haven't kept up with it. It's just been busy, a lot of other watch-throughs. But what I am going to do, leading up to Doomsday, obviously we've seen all the MCU stuff and a lot of other Marvel movies, so I'm going to finish watching X-Men the Animated Series, catch up on X-Men 97, maybe once we get out of summer a little bit and all the busy watches, kind of have the fall to work through that leading up to Doomsday. That feels good to lead into X-Men type stuff for that movie, and but I've heard nothing but great things about the first season and then the first chunk of these episodes as well. The last TV thing, which I said I wasn't going to talk weekly about House of the Dragon, but Season 3's opened up with just a couple of fucking bangers.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too.
It is awesome. The 3rd episode came out last night. I just didn't have time to watch it because I was finishing Season 5 of The Bear. I'll probably watch it maybe today before I go to work or after work, but this has just been such great progression of where we've been with the first 2 seasons of House of the Dragon. Rhaenyra is coming to King's Landing with the troops, fucking dragons just flapping their way in there. And just the character dynamics between her and Alicent and Alicent's dad, who Rhys Ifans, he's great as Otto Hightower throughout this entire show. And I just love all the dynamics between the characters. I don't want to spoil too much, really. It's hard to get into specifics, but the ending of this episode is gets you pumped up, but then you're oh fuck, that's gonna cause a lot of problems going forward just with where they leave it and just the look between 2 characters. So I've really loved watching through this show. I love the week-to-week watches of this, and we'll see if I talk more about future episodes, but I'll probably do once the season wraps up. Now that these first 2 are done, maybe I'll wrap it up.
Wait a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, so love House of the Dragon. We'll keep watching that for sure. Coming out this week, we have a few bigger releases, actually. The biggest one is Evil Dead Burn, which is, this is the 6th Evil Dead movie?
Yeah.
Is this the
biggest one for us, at least.
Yeah, this is the one that we're, of the big releases, the most excited for. It's the kind of an unknown cast, not at least for both of us, really. Not too familiar with a lot of them. But after the loss of her husband, a woman seeks solace with her in-laws as one by one they transform into deadites. She comes to discover that the vows she took in life survive even in death. And the trailers have looked really sweet. There's been a lot of good just like the part with the dishwasher opening and then
yeah.
the knife sticking out. I think that's the popcorn bucket even.
Oh,
I
sick.
think they made, yeah. Which there's like actual like pointy things. I'm like, I don't know if I want that on a popcorn bucket.
I don't need obstacles when I'm in a theater.
We're getting a little crazy with popcorn buckets now.
I'm fine with it if they make money, fine. But like,
yeah,
I like the Odysseys, the IMAX camera one that they
That's
put
cool.
out. That looks sick.
some of them are really cool and work for the movies. Some of them are really impractical and like it's a cool collectible, but not a good popcorn bucket.
Yeah, it doesn't hold
You
enough.
need to keep that in mind when you're making
Yeah.
a good popcorn bucket. But anyways, I think this now, if this movie is good, will be the most consistent horror franchise
Yeah.
now that Scream has fallen
Scream
off.
is taking Scream 7 to just shit the bed with, yeah.
Because I love Raimi's movies. It's hard for me to pick whether the first one or second one's my favorite of them. Army of Darkness is its own weird thing that I love. The 2013 remake is my least favorite of them. I still think it's fine, but it just doesn't do anything that the other movies... It doesn't have the heights of the other movies for me. And then Evil Dead Rise is fucking awesome from a few years back. So, really excited for this one. Excited for Evil Dead Wrath next year.
Yeah. Rank your Evil Deads right now.
Oh man, I think I'd go Evil Dead 2, then The Evil Dead, Evil Dead Rise, Army of Darkness, and then the 2013 remake.
Alright. I'd probably do... It's a toss-up between Evil Dead 2 or 2013 Evil Dead for my favorite, and then whatever the other one is would be in the second spot. Third would be Army of Darkness, and then Evil Dead Rise, and then I think the first Evil Dead, which I do like, but like there's not one of these that I'm like, oh, this one sucks. Like they're all fun and they're all great in their own regards. So I agree with you. This is the most consistent horror franchise we have going today, and I can't wait for this. I've heard nothing but like great things coming from the press screenings of Evil Dead Burn. So, and then we have what is it? Evil Dead. What's next year?
Wrath.
Yep. So I'm super stoked for that too. I like that this franchise is just kind of pumping them out.
Yeah, I'm cool with them just doing kind of
One-off
stories. Yeah, I think that's a cool idea. The other big release, which was on both of our top 10 predictions for the summer box office, is Moana. Yeah, 10 years after. We have the great animated movie that is just a modern Disney classic in my mind.
One of my favorite Disney movies. Yep.
It's fantastic. I love it. The music's amazing. We're getting the live-action remake. The trailers have just looked like ass.
You can't sell Dwayne Johnson in that wig.
No,
for me. It doesn't work as Maui.
It looks terrible. It's just, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to see it in theaters or not. These live action remakes, there's like a handful that I think are worthy, and the rest are just cash grabs. This is just a cash grab.
Yeah.
It's the same story. Like even when you look on IMDb, they don't even have like the story listed. It's just like, yeah, a live action version of the animated movie. It's like, well, what the fuck? Why then? What are we doing? We had a couple years ago Moana 2, which is like fine, but
I still haven't watched that.
It was going to be a TV show, and then you could feel that it was just kind of episodes bunched together. We're getting a Moana 3. It sounds like Dwayne Johnson said that in an interview, which I wish they would have just worked on that instead and not done this live action one.
Yeah.
I hope we're both wrong and this flops hard.
Oh no, it's not.
It's not going to.
This will make a lot of money.
It is going to make a lot of money.
I will not be there to support it. I've made it my own personal mission to not see any of these live-action remakes in theaters. I will not see this in theaters. I don't think I'll ever sit down and watch this unless I hear they did this crazy thing with the story, which I know that they won't because they want to satisfy the fans, even though they're just going to give us the same slop. So I love that first Moana. I still haven't seen Moana 2. Will not check this one out gleefully. And I hope that it tanks, but I know that it won't because it's Disney and they're giving people what they want. So fuck this movie and its existence. The trailers have looked like shit. There's nothing here that you can't already get in that great 2016 animated movie. That, like I said, it's one of my favorite Disney movies. I think it's one of the best ones that they've had in the past maybe 20 years. So maybe just watch that again or re-release that in theaters. This just feels so desperate, like a cash grab.
100%.
Like you mentioned. So fuck this movie.
The thing I'm most excited for this week was a movie called The Invite, which opened at Sundance earlier this year. I think it's in January. It's Olivia Wilde's new movie. She made Booksmart, which is great, super fucking funny, a great comedy from the past few years. And then Don't Worry, Darling, a very took on its own meaning with the press tour and that whole thing. As far as the movie goes, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's not
cool.
bad.
It doesn't quite deliver on all of its mystery that it sets up, but I think there's still some
Like,
cool
how'd that
stuff.
plane get here? What's the plane
What is
doing in the desert? What's
what
this
are they doing
mean?
with their thing? What? But good performances. Like, I don't know, Harry Styles wasn't bad. Like, he's fine
I thought he was
in that movie.
fine.
Yeah. So she's made some movies that we both like. This one is about Seth Rogen and Olivia Wilde, who are in a marriage, and it's kind of on thin ice, and they decide to invite their upstairs neighbors, played by Penelope Cruz and Edward Norton, down for a dinner party, and it goes to unexpected places. I've heard this movie's super funny. I heard it's just... There's shit that happens that you just wouldn't predict is going to happen in this movie. We're starting to get into some of these like Sundance and festival movies coming out, which is just prime time for us. I can't wait to see this. This is the one of the releases this week that I am just the most fucking excited for.
Yeah, I'm pretty eager for Evil Dead Burn and for The Invite. It's going to be maybe a toss-up which one I see first. Maybe I'll do a double feature. Sometimes I try not to do double features if I'm really excited for the movie, just because I'm like, I'm going to overshadow one of the movies with the other, and I want to give them both their own viewing experience, but I'm just so eagerly anticipated both of these movies. And yeah, I feel like The Invite has really like crept up on us, and I feel like their marketing has started to get really good in the past couple of weeks of just like doing a little bit of like smaller like festival runs or like little independent releases, some in some scattered art house theaters and stuff like that across the states here. And I'm really, it's just helping to build momentum for this movie and building my anticipation for it. So I can't wait. And I think Olivia Wilde overall is a pretty good director. I love Booksmart and Don't Worry Darling. I think is like, I kind of want to rewatch it maybe before I go see The Invite. Who knows? But yeah, I think it's an interesting week of kind of three different types of heavy hitters that we have being released. Moving into a physical media roundup, I pre-ordered the 4K Blu-ray of Obsession. Is it on my top 10 of this year? You'll probably find out in the next like 5 to 10 minutes. And then I also, one of the movies I've sunk the most amount of money in my life is a illegitimate copy of the movie Barbarian, directed by Zach Cregger, just because for some reason they didn't want to put out a physical media release of that in like a good timeline with when that movie actually was released in theaters. So I got an illegitimate copy with a slipcover, everything, Blu-ray. It works, it's great. But now they're like, oh, now we'll put out a 4K Blu-ray. I'm like, fuck you. Now you're getting more of my money. Except
You
it's
jumped the
actually,
shark.
yeah, I jumped
Like
the shark,
3
which
years.
I do it a lot. Which okay, yeah, exactly, 3 years. You can't blame me too much. So I did pre-order the 4K Blu-ray steelbook of that, and maybe I'll pass my illegitimate Blu-ray copy that probably cost me close to $100 by itself. I'll give that to Corey.
Damn.
Yeah, I spent way too much money on that, so I'm excited to buy this movie again, except have a legitimate release.
One of us has to keep that
Yeah,
for the memory
I think
of
you
that.
will get it.
Sure, yeah.
Sure.
I'll take that. Once they inevitably do the Knives Out releases, I'll take your Glass Onion.
Yeah,
once they
and-
do a trilogy
Yeah,
box set.
Glass Onion and Wake Up Dead Man.
Yeah.
Both of those cost me at least $80 each, too.
Yeah, fuck.
Yeah. Jesus. Just give me my physical media. Just give it to me now.
That's all
Like,
we
come
want. Sony, please.
Yeah, fuck you,
Yeah,
Sony.
give us our physical media. As far as things coming out this week, a movie that you're going to hear about again in a little bit, The Drama, is coming out on the A24 release, both 4K and Blu-ray. David Mackenzie's movie, Fuse, from earlier this year, getting a Blu-ray release as well. And then Dead Man's Wire from last year coming out. And then some older titles is The Elephant Man. Get him, Elephant Man! If you've seen that Ryan Gosling interview, I think for Barbie it was, maybe, talking about his theater experience of watching a re-release of The Elephant Man.
Which is one of my favorite movies. I love that.
I actually still haven't seen it.
It's
I need to watch
fantastic.
it.
It's one of my favorite black and white movies.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch that good superhero movie and see
Yeah.
what see what happens. And then speaking of Evil Dead, a really, really cool steelbook for the original The Evil Dead is coming out on 4K. Just like the hand coming through, and I just love the griminess of that first movie.
Yeah.
Just like gross cabin, nasty. It is
Bad shit happens with trees. Nasty.
nasty. So yeah, some good stuff coming out this week.
Moving into movie news, we had kind of a lighter week, which is why we're going to opt to do our top 10 movies of the year so far. We'll get to that in a second. We did have a couple of notable trailers. Aside from Moana 3 basically getting rumored and announced by Dwayne Johnson in an interview, we have trailers for Werewolf or Werewolf, the new Robert Eggers movie coming out the latter half of this year, and then we have Angry Birds, the Angry Birds movie 3. I haven't seen any of those.
I haven't either. Should we go see it?
No, I knew you were going to say that. I don't know if this is the franchise we need to go see. I need to go see
It's
Minions
around
and
Christmas
Monsters,
time.
potentially.
Yeah, let's Christmas. Let's go see
Oh,
it.
yeah. December 26th, right in the morning. We're gonna
Eggnog,
go see-
Angry
Yeah.
Birds.
No. We also got a trailer for an animated movie starring Selena Gomez and Timothée Chalamet called Not Alone. Didn't watch that trailer. Didn't watch the Angry Birds movie 3 trailer.
I didn't either.
Only watched Werewolf because that is a movie I am hotly anticipating. It does speak to a lot of the Nosferatu. Oh yes, you want to suck me off. Like, it has the same Bill Skarsgård esque Nosferatu voice in it, except it's, I'm guessing, Aaron Taylor Johnson's voiceover as this werewolf. It looks nutty. It looks so gothic and disturbing. And I think Robert Eggers has come out and been like, this is the most cursed thing I've made. And I'm like, yes.
It feels like a combination of everything he's done with The Witch, Lighthouse, Northman, Nosferatu. Yeah, dude, you never need to make a movie past 1840.
Always period pieces from here on out.
Yeah, no cars.
Do a Jack the Ripper movie with Robert Eggers.
That'd be cool.
That'd be good. Get something really nutty going.
No technology in movies for you, bud.
No,
You're
no
done.
phone.
Yeah, never.
Everything is lit by candlelight and torches.
Yes.
But yeah, so we're both really excited for it. I like the trailer, even though it does kind of, I'm like, this is Nosferatu Part 2, but who cares? I'm really highly anticipated for it. And I love that the cast is mostly just carryover from every other Eggers movie. So I like that he's found his group of weirdos, and he's like, guys, I got a plan for this next one.
Ralph Ineson's gonna be just sitting in the corner, weird
he's gonna be reading a scroll. He's like, oh, it's bad.
Willem Dafoe's gonna be kooky somewhere.
He's gonna be in a cave, just in a fucking loincloth, bald, just
Gollum.
Yeah, basically. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. But let's get into our top 10 movies of the year to this point, as we are kind of passed over that halfway point.
Crazy.
Of the year. It is weird, and also we were talking about it before we started recording. It feels like this year, in comparison to maybe last year, we haven't had as many big hitting movies. I think at this point last year I had seen almost 70 movies. At this point now I'm at 50, so I feel like I'm slacking, but there's not a lot of other movies that I wish I would have rushed out to go see that I haven't already kind of done some cleanup work and saw retroactively in kind of just some catch-up weeks. But top 10 movies of the year so far, we'll get into those. Corey, how do you want to do this? Do you want to do 10 through 5, and then the other person does their 10 through 5, and then 5 through 1?
Yeah, let's do that.
Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You rip them with your 10 through 5.
All right. I'm gonna lie. I have, they're not honorable mentions just because they're my 11th, 12th, and 13th slot, but I wanted to give some flowers. Number 13 would be Send Help, 12 Hokum, and 11 Toy Story 5. But the nitty gritty, the top 10, which some of these movies they're gonna get bumped out inevitably by some of the other movies that we have coming later on this year, but I love these movies for their own rights. Number 10, I have Boots Riley's film I Love Boosters. What a nutty fucking crazy movie. Number 9, I have Is God Is, a great revenge film. 8, a movie that I've seen high up on a lot of people's lists. Some slight glazing, but I will acknowledge it is a phenomenal movie, and it's a really surprising, charming film. Number 8 is The Sheep Detectives. Number 7, Corey, you saw it this week, Undertone. Just a surprising, really ruthless horror film that I really enjoyed. So, love The Undertone at number 7. And then number 6, Project Hail Mary. A movie I've also seen higher and lower in other people's lists. I read the book. I love the story. The movie on a rewatch worked a lot better for me. It's still not as good as what I think it could have been, but I think for what it did for the first half of 2026, it just felt like a blockbuster everyone wanted to go rush out and see. So I love it for that regard too. So that's my 10 through 6 of I Love Boosters, Is God Is, Sheep Detectives, Undertone, Project Hail Mary.
All right. Well, I will also give sort of honorable mentions, I guess. I'll just shout out my favorite theater experience to this point is seeing Jackass Best and Last. It was just a lot of fun seeing it with some buddies. I loved that, even though it may not be on my top 10 of the year so far.
Oh, I thought it was gonna.
No, it's not. I just wanted to give it a shout out just because that was so much fun. I think I'm going to give my list of these 10 movies. Maybe still the best thing I've watched this year is Gary, that 1 hour episode of The Bear. That's just kind of a TV special, if you want to call it that. I don't know that anything has impacted me more than that this year. So, speaking of The Bear and all that stuff, I just really love that, and I loved watching Gary. So go check that out. Okay, so moving in to my 10 through 6. At number 10, I have Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. What a fun, unexpected, wacky movie that is just chaotic and just it handles the AI of everything where a lot of times it gets annoying. It handles it in a really fun way, and I really enjoyed that. Number 9, I have Project Hail Mary, movie that I am a lot lower on than most people, but can't disregard that it has so many great technical elements to it, and it's just the score is amazing. I think that it's a very interesting story, but sometimes the script doesn't quite live up to what I think a lot of other people saw in this movie, but I still really enjoyed it. Number 8, I have Peaky Blinders, The Immortal Man. That was such a fun watch through of doing all the Peaky Blinders watch. That's still one of my favorite shows of all time. The movie doesn't quite live up to anything the show ever did, but for me it was a satisfying conclusion, and a lot of the bold choices that they made have sat better with me over time of what they chose to do with characters. At number 7, I have Backrooms. This is another movie that I think we're both a bit lower on it than most people, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's my number 18 of the year, but I still would say I love that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's, again, I watched through all the shorts for that, and I think just so much of the movie works, and then the end, I think, is still good. It's just good in a different way. Not quite Backrooms good, but just still solid. But I just love the world of the Backrooms. And also, they just released an extended cut of it in theaters.
I was thinking about going to see that.
And I found, don't do this, go see it in theaters again, but I found it's like a 15-minute post-credits scene that they tack on at the end, and it's basically just another, it's like, it takes place a week before the movie, and it's with that opening scene from the movie of, like, that async worker going through. It's about him and some other guys that are, like, going through and find the furniture store signs and stuff like that. So it's really cool. It just harkens back to like a lot of the shorts on YouTube.
I hope that when they release the A24 version of it, the physical media of it, I hope that they have that either as a special feature or just you can watch it with that version or the theatrical release, the original theatrical release.
Yeah, it was really cool. Go see it in theaters again if you want to check that out. And then number 6, I have Send Help. This is a movie that I
knew
just
you were gonna love that
absolutely love. Just everything about this movie worked. It is Sam Raimi, I think, firing on all cylinders, and Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien, some of the best weird chemistry between two actors in a movie I've seen all year. It is it goes to some unexpected places I didn't really anticipate. It has the gore of the boar getting stabbed, some Sam Raimi jump scares with a skeleton.
Yeah,
it has
Evil Dead jump scare.
Yeah, I think it just combines everything that Sam Raimi does well into such a good movie with great characters that I just loved following. So, so again, my 10 through 6, Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, Project Hail Mary, Peaky Blinders, The Immortal Man, Backrooms, and Send Help.
Before I get into my 5 through 10, one of my favorite scenes, I think, from this year is in Send Help, and it's when she numbs him with the venom, and then you just hearing the sounds of what she potentially is doing, and you just have Dylan O'Brien just,
acting like fucking crazy.
Yeah, all the performances are fantastic in that movie. I want to rewatch it.
I love it so much.
Good. Moving into my 5 through 1, I know this one's going to be on your 5 through 1, not to spoil, just because we got to see this together and we both love this movie. I think we love this movie probably more than a lot of other people that I've seen talk about it, but number 5 for me is a Steven Spielberg return to form for me with Disclosure Day. It just felt like classic Spielberg, and you have John Williams in there. It just, a lot of the issues I've seen other people have, it didn't hit me that way. It worked for me, and I think the ending works great. I think the first 2 acts are fantastic, and the third act is still really, really good, to where I left very satisfied. I love Disclosure Day. Number 4, underseen movie is Exit 8. I love this movie. It's a good little chamber piece of one character, maybe 2 other secondary characters trying to work themselves out of this weird replicating situation. Very Backrooms-esque before Backrooms came out this year. I loved it. I know it's based off of a video game I know nothing of, but the movie itself was really riveting, a good thriller, a little bit of horror in there as well, so I loved Exit 8. Number 3, I have Obsession. Everyone loves Obsession. It's a great horror film. It's fantastic. Everything positive that has ever been said about this movie, I agree with 100%. There's literally no negatives I have with this movie. It's just there's 2 other movies ahead of it that hit me harder this year. Number 2, Leviticus. Only because I don't view my number 1 as a straight-up horror film, this to me would be the best horror film of the year. I think it has a great story, it has a great premise, great characters, and good stakes, where I actually cared about these people going through this horrible thing that's happening to them. And I think that they do a lot of, it made me think of movies like Talk to Me or Bring Her Back and stuff like that. It also takes place in Australia, so that kind of leans into it a little bit. The performances are great, the drama is fantastic, and the premise is something that just falls in line with what It Follows, to kind of horror, that slow, lingering dread. Something's after you. I really loved this movie. I would definitely recommend check it out because it's a little bit underseen. Number 1, has been since I saw it, probably won't change. I know Corey doesn't love this movie. There's one negative I have with this movie, which is just an editing mishap in a barn sequence, but 28 years later, The Bone Temple is one of the most spray-painted side of a van heavy metal artwork things I've ever seen. Ray Fiennes, you deserve an Oscar for this performance of you just going fucking hellish in the woods, basically, of this Bone Temple. I love this movie. It was a surprise coming from Nia DaCosta because I haven't loved a lot of Nia DaCosta's other stuff. I've liked it, but not loved it. I think that this is maybe up there with 28 Days Later, which is one of my favorite films of all time. I love this movie. I can see in your expression that you hate that I'm saying this. This movie just, it sung for me. It worked, and I like, yes, it does the typical, a zombie movie, are the humans bad or are the zombies bad? It does handle that argument. I love the Jimmies. I think they're nutty and weird, and I think it works great. I really love this movie, and I like where it ends up and what it may lead into with the third film in this kind of revitalized 28 franchise that we got, the 28 Years Later franchise, I should say. So, Bone Temple still my favorite film of 2026 to this point.
I mean, I understand that I am in the big minority as far as this movie. This is on a lot of people's top 10 so far. It just didn't work for me. I agree that I'm excited for a third movie in this kind of new trilogy. But I felt like I was being punked.
This movie felt like I was watching Metallica front row after shoveling a gram of coke up my ass. This was one of my favorite film going experiences of this year. It was so awesome.
Yeah, it is not in my top 10, spoiler alert. But my top 5 is filled with a lot of horror movies. Some things traditional horror, some things not traditional horror. Number 5, I have Hokum. I really like this movie. I think this of the summer horror movies that got released, obviously Obsession and Backrooms have been the big talkers. I think Hokum was very underseen, and I really like it. I love how this movie wrapped up. That is really what won it over for me, because I liked it a lot, and I thought there were genuinely a couple of good creepy moments. Adam Scott's great in the movie, but how it ends, I think, is just perfect for this movie, and I really do love it.
A horror movie with a legitimate, good character arc for the lead.
Yeah, 100%. And number 4, we've talked about it a lot on this episode, but Undertone. This one just, again, genuinely freaked me out. Really love the vibe of it. As two stupid podcasters, can relate to a little bit of the editing and all the bullshit
recording of this,
Yeah. At number 3, I have The Drama. This is one of the biggest surprises of me for the year. I think this movie has some of the best character work, maybe the best character work I've seen in any movie this year. This is, again, not a horror movie, but there's scary elements of what these people may or may not have done or thought about doing. And I think it just dug into how you feel about somebody that you've known for a long time, and you learn something about them, and does that change your view? And should that change your view of them? I think it has some of the best themes of the year. I don't really have any issues with it. I think there's also some incredible dark humor in this movie that just fucking soars and comes in at the perfect time.
Oh my god, this it's not in my top 10. It's a movie that I still really like from this year, but the scenes of Zendaya's character as a kid making tapes. Hey, you're gonna die. Just shit like that. It's so searing and it's so funny, and I love that with Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, and The Drama we have interesting kind of films that are willing to tackle hard topics in a dark, humorous way. So I really appreciate it.
If you don't know the kind of big reveal and you haven't seen this movie yet, go watch it as blind as possible. Yeah. And number 2, you talked about it already, Disclosure Day. My favorite director of all time, coming back with an original idea with Aliens. I'm in. It was awesome. Emily Blunt gives maybe one of the best performances of the year. She's great here. I loved all of the Spielberg action. I loved the goofiness and campiness of an invisible house sequence and fire trucks. Some of the script issues, that's been a big talking point of David Koepp. A lot of them don't bother me. There's some just specific things with the device that are just kind of
MacGuffin,
I'm like, you could have cleaned it up a little bit, but I think this movie ends so well. Again, just an ending that I thought was perfect for this movie. And for what the title of this movie is, it's Disclosure Day, not the days after Disclosure Day.
Which I've seen. Alien Reckoning. We're not getting invasion in this movie.
I think what the movie set out to do, it accomplished perfectly, and I really do love it. John Williams' score is great. And then at number 1, I have Obsession. This has been the movie of the year so far. The movie people, fans, and critics alike have been talking about the most. So to just hop on that bandwagon, we were on it from the first weekend it came out. This movie's fucking awesome. It has just gotten better over time. I don't think I've thought about a movie more than Obsession this year. I just love Indy Navarrete. This is a star-making performance. She's already just blown up being at the Jackass premiere.
I saw that too. That's
so funny. I love that. I think just the themes in this movie have just hit harder for me after thinking about it more. Again, some great dark humor in there from Curry Barker, Cooper Tomlinson. I love in the movie too. So this one, I'm trying to think of like how many of these I think may be on my list at the end of the year. I think maybe 2 to 3 of them could be there. Obsession will absolutely be on that list because I just love this movie so much.
Yeah, I think I'm hoping at least 4 of mine. We have a stacked latter half of this year, so I wouldn't be surprised if more get chipped off, and I have a completely different top 10 by the end of this year. But I'm mostly satisfied with what we've had, and I think I have a good mix of different genres. There's a lot of horror because I'm a big horror fan, and also those have been a lot of the best movies this year. Say what you want, or say what I want about Ralph Fiennes being fantastic and Bone Temple, or Emily Blunt giving one of her best performances in Disclosure Day. Indy Navarrete gave, I think, the performance of the year, and I don't think that's going to go away. You could make an argument for Rocky and Project Hail Mary with, was it James Ortiz who did the puppeting work and the voice of him? Like, there are really influential and monumental performances from this year, but Indy Navarrete was just sensational. She's so great in that movie. Obsession is fantastic. I think we've had a pretty good lead up to what we have as like Doomsday and Odyssey and Brand New Day and all these big heavy hitters, and also a lot of smaller, more Oscar-driven or arts-driven films that will also creep out too. I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of this week you have The Invite in your top 10, honestly.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited what we have going forward, even in the upcoming weeks for 2026. And I really can't wait. I think it's been a pretty decent year so far, but I think by the end of this year it could be one of the best.
I hope so.
I hope so too. That will do it for today's episode. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Slate Night, the Film Fan Podcast. In film, it's not just about what's on screen; it's also about who's next to you in the theater.
For Mason and I, it's Late Night. That's a wrap.
We have paper now. We have paper.
Oh, we do have paper.
Paper. I didn't look at paper once. We have paper. Credits going up. Yeah. Drinks after.